All right, we're talking about Django. As Josh said before, yeah, don't use it. Yeah, no, seriously, look at your options before you go to Django. But yes, it is a MVC Python web framework.
And just like what Josh was saying, these frameworks like this give you a lot of power right off the bat to build pretty powerful things with a little bit of code. We're going to show you that in a little bit. But
all right, so the same thing that Josh said before. Why not show the same colors? All right. Well, yeah, user uses controller manipulates, model updates the view, and then the user sees the view. So Django is like, yeah, sure, we love this, but no, why? We're just going to change the names of everything just to confuse you. So yeah, the models are still the models. The views they call templates, and the controller is called the view. Or views.py file. You just have to keep that in mind when you're actually writing. I don't understand exactly what I did. You can look it up on Django.docs.com. So some little quick pros and cons. Python, like people know, it's easy to learn. It is backend agnostic, defaults to SQLite, which works for websites. If you're deploying something big, you have lots of users, MySQL or Postgres is probably going to be recommended. Inheritable templating is nice. Like Josh was saying, you can have I don't know if it's quite similar, but it's like you can have a base template, and then everything else on your site, you can have a home page, I don't know, members area, who knows what, all inherit from base, and then if you want to change the whole way your site looks, you have to change just one file. Works really well. Like Aaron was saying, it does implement an admin interface for you right off the bat. So when you configure your models, you can go to hit your site at /admin, and then give you a login that you set up when you create the project. And that'll let you directly edit your models, the data of your models, without having to set up anything besides the actual models. Security features will do password hashing for you, salted password hashing, so you don't have to implement it. Built-in web server, you just type Python manage run use management script and run server command. It'll set up a web server for you.
as a side note, that's not what you actually deploy on this. That's just for development. So every time you make a change, it restarts the server and updates it. But then if you're actually going to deploy, which is part of one of the cons of Django, is it's kind of annoying setup just for deployment. But, yeah, so you got a really cool built-in server. Sorry, I just wanted to check that.
Yeah, an active plugin community. So for instance, there's a plugin for email registration. Oh no, I don't want to have to implement the whole, sends the user an email with a link. There's a plugin, you install it, and it works. All the way through configuration. But like Eric was mentioning before, significant trade-off of configurability for ease of setup. So for instance, if you have a current application or a current website you're trying to replace that uses usernames and passwords, or you're fine. Usernames and passwords. If you're using email and passwords, it's a total pain in the butt to try to get Django to work with emails and passwords instead of usernames and passwords. They love usernames, and it's kind of craziness. And like I said before, confusingly conforms to the MVC architecture. Hard to use for single-page web apps. Great to use for like setting up a simple form and stuff like that, where you click and it refreshes the page and posts the form or whatever you're doing. But if you're going to do it, a single-page web app with Ajax, you're going to have to do that yourself. So enough about that.
There's a question like that. But yeah, on that note, I'm going to do a little live demo. So if you guys go to so this is the repo if you want to check it out. Right here is a website you can live check out our project called Stupefy. And then I'm going to show you, so see this right now. The what? The font color is off on what?
The blue on the slide.
The blue on the
Oh,
side?
the blue against the green.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So, what is a bad example?
Yeah, so I didn't pay much attention to the design talk before I made the slides.
Yeah, don't do that.
All right, so there's the link, and then this is the IP address we'll link it to. If you check it out, it's gonna be like, so basically it takes a string, however arbitrarily long, and replaces intelligent words with words with a little less intelligence. So like if I say, you make a great, you are an amazing, beautiful girlfriend. Thank you. Cheers. And we'll go, you are amazing. So yeah, and then we implemented some features. So it looks like you guys mostly found it, so I'll put that a little bit smaller. So there's all right, so Evan Hits is right at the top.
I wish I could read the link.
You wish you could read the link. All right, let's work on that.
You should IP over here if you want. You see that? It's quite nice. It's less characters. Yeah, the IP is actually less characters than the short one.
David, what did you do?
Yeah. So Damien, obviously. So yeah, we're just gonna. If you want to go to that URL. But Alright. So what he was saying earlier about making single web page web app. So this, I have to refresh the page to get an update. I don't know what happened.
It's really long.
Yeah, what did I ask? Nice, you're trolling. I have a fix for this.
Anyway, if you're writing a Django app, you should come check out our recall board because it has like a bunch of really basic stuff. And you can probably just edit that template if you wanted to. It has forms, uses forms.
Yeah, I'm just here. 1 second.
I don't like this system.
All right, so you guys are trying to do stuff to it. So what if I can see you guys try to insert like JavaScript and stuff like Django has built-in escaping, so it's like all right. So as you can see, so here's our code. I don't know, you guys probably can't see that. All right, so here's a really good example, kind of similar to what Josh was talking about with templating. So I have two different files here. I'm inheriting from the base HTML class, and then so I'm inheriting from the base class, and then I'm sending stuff to the page, and then I can just repeat it, and or do like stuff like if statements here. So you guys are all about those upvotes and upvoting funny things, but we're going to implement a downvote really quick. Yeah. So I'm going to go to my views file, which like he said is actually a controller. So I already implemented vote, so that's a good place to start, right? Just copy and paste that and make it a downvote. I don't know if that's for this talk. Alright, so you can see what am I doing? It has a URL and then it has a primary key. It finds that primary key and then it does a -1 and then saves it and then returns it to the home page. So, and then I also have to, so that's cool, that's not going to work because I needed my URL. So, do the same thing. Downvote. Alright, so now, And then, so now we can go to our view, and then, like right here where we have a vote, we can do the same thing. I'm literally just copy and pasting code in front of you guys, so this is kind of embarrassing. Sometimes you have to do that. It's better than writing from scratch.
Yeah, that's right. Don't write your own code, just copy it.
Yeah, I'm just styling in the Bootstrap right now. Makes it really easy to make websites that look fairly decent without much work. Alright, so that's cool. That's on my server. How do I'm just going to do a git add, stupefy. So this is just my git commands. So my server is, no, I'm not going to do that. No comments.
Just figure it out.
I guess a good answer to your question is, how does one person have over 500 votes or whatever they had? So I'm just going to do... So I added down those, and then I made a script, so I have to do a git push. And now it's on my git repo. So this goes back to our continuous integration, right? And I just have this script I can run. I can do make, deploy. If I can type. All right. And this site might go down for a little bit, but then. Are downvotes there? Yeah. All right. So actually,
Your website's literally like
so you guys are probably spamming it.
no, just
This page?
refresh.
Who's hacking better than me?
All right. All right. So operational error.
What's the lesson here, kids? Don't use
Yeah, so I have to bounce equals true on, which is what you should do in deployment, because that's usually how you see what's going on.
That's like
That was great. But again, that's the idea. We just showed basic templating of how you can do, and then a little bit of code to update a model. And yeah, is there any questions? Yes.
So back in the AFG framework, you had CSH and HTML. Django offer some embedded Python with it.
Okay. So that's a good question. So there's not embedded Python, but it uses a templating language called, I forget the name for it, but it's template. So you see this right here? That's not default HTML at all. Inside my view, I'm passing back phrases, and then it's going for phrase and phrases, which is kind of a Python to say. And then I can just access the object with things like this. Actually, a lot of templating engines work like this.
I believe that people is style. The name of the
Style.
template.
Thank you.
Alright, yeah, and you can even do stuff like this, which is an if statement. So I say if there's a new phrase, so if you just did a post request, it's going to be a phrase, and it puts your new phrase at the top. Does that answer your question? Yes.
Why should someone use Django over
I mean, it depends on language you're familiar with, I guess.
Ruby on Rails has much more traction, but if you don't know Ruby, Ruby has an interesting syntax to start off with, in my opinion. I don't know too much about Ruby to comment, but I know Python, Django gives you a lot of stuff like the admin interface, which is really powerful, especially if you're setting up like a site, like a blog, or then you don't have to fully implement stuff for administrators on the back end. You know, you just have it, and they can create new blog entries without you doing much work at all.
And you can assign groups to, so if you have people like a set of people that are admins, a set of people that are users, set of people that are, I don't know, like supervisors, you can build the admin interface too.
And it's pretty fast. Once you know what you're doing, it's pretty fast to get up and running. We wrote this a couple hours, whereas if you wrote this from scratch and some other stuff, it might take longer. But any other questions? Good. All right. What's up?